Between 2018 and 2022, 20 Stories High were funded by the Paul Hamlyn Foundation to explore how, as an arts organisation, we place mental health and well-being as a priority. What it means for the young people we work with, the artists we create with, and the team that makes it all happen. These are the key areas we have been exploring.
Participation and young people.
I think it's been quite good. I think recently I've felt it more.
I'm Donna and I'm the youth worker at 20 Stories High. I work quite closely with all our young people.
My name is Tia and I am in youth theatre.
I think some of the successes with State of Mind is that it's always at the forefront of our mind in everything that we do now, no matter what projects we're doing. I think even for our staff well-being and as well as our young people's well-being and everything. Right the way throughout, it's like we're always talking about it. And I think even with our young people, it's frequently talked about.
State of Mind for me is looking at the young people's mental health and also the staff members in 20 Stories High and any other organisation. It could be mental health issues to do with things that are going on in their outside life, outside of youth theatre, or things that are going on in the session, and making sure that people are always in their best headspace. When I felt a bit low, Donna was able to take me out of the session and speak to me, have conversations and get to the bottom of what was making me feel the way I did. I felt the Zoom sessions were so weird, but like at the same time I felt like we needed them because we literally had nothing else.
Yeah, definitely. We had something to keep on, kind of keep something to do, but sometimes that could be quite full on as well. It's always like in team meeting that we can have a little, check in and kind of see how we're doing as staff and individuals, and whether like there's anything that we need to be a bit aware of with any of the staff team. I think that's always nice to know, because I think as working with the young people, it can be hard sometimes.
A lot of the people in the audience usually are our friends and family, and maybe people from outside of our friends and family. So if we're sharing something that's close to us and that's close to them, then maybe it might trigger something in them as well. So I think it got us thinking a lot more about how the audience members would feel in that situation.
Because life doesn't always go to plan, but sometimes it just sorts itself out. But with you, my friend, by my side, that goodbye will feel alright.
How we create work.
My name's Keith and I am Artistic Director and Co-CEO.
My name's James and I joined the Youth Theatre back in 2015. Did a couple of shows from there, went up to the Young Actors Company.
When we started the State of Mind project, we knew how it was going to impact the young people that we work with and the participants, but actually it's developed throughout the whole organisation. And the way that we make work, the shows that we make and the processes, we just do radically differently now.
I got involved with Touchy for the first time through a workshop that was held with the Young Actors Company, and through that workshop I kind of had questions about how I should approach people as being trans. In my eyes, touch as a female is a lot different to touch as a male.
And we work with an artist wellbeing practitioner called Lou Platt for the first time, and we would never work with an artist wellbeing practitioner before. And at 20 Stories High, a lot of the work that we make, either with young people, with professional artists and emerging artists, are autobiographical or semi-autobiographical.
Lou came into the space during our first R&D and introduced us to the drama spiral.
And in the middle of the spiral, the number 6 is the red area, which is the hot spot, which is stories that are unresolved. And then number 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, you sort of span out of that to stories that are resolved or semi-fictional stories, so that the artists suddenly have got a choice.
I was very, very close to the centre of the spiral, and when I realised just how further out other people were, it made me take a step back to think, is this the story I want to tell? Is this going to affect my mental health by telling something that is my life? Are the people involved going to become offended if they see this because they know it's going to be about them? So that was the first kind of moment that I realised maybe I should fictionalise some things or turn it into something else. And I think it really helped my mental health in the long run. And that developed into Max's story.
Alright, my name's Max. I'm a 21-year-old lad from Liverpool whose three main passions in life are Rick and Morty, cheesy what's it butties, and me pet lizard, Charizard. Now, like a lot of people, I've had loads of ups and downs over the past year or so, but the one thing I've weirdly liked is the 2-metre rule.
I made it no secret that my lockdown wasn't the best, but having the people in the space who would support me and being able to access support from Lou if I needed it, it really helped me to kind of relax and feel more comfortable being in that space.
The work is still as challenging and as tricky as it always has been, but now it feels, because we've got those tools and processes, it actually allows us to be braver.
This man, that man, still a black man. Intimidated as a man. Me mum's English, me dad from Sudan. Salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam. Man, I'm black with a capital B. Man, I'm black with a capital B with a capital. Said I'm black with a capital B. Said I'm black with a capital B with a capital. I said I'm black with a capital B. Man, I've never been a savage and I've never been an animal. I said I'm black with a capital B. I said I'm black with a capital B with a capital.
Engaging with audiences.
I'm watching me put how to get it moving away.
This is hectic already.
Hey, we just come for the day at the park, us.
Oh my god.
Lucy, I'm gonna make you fly off it. My name's Joe. I'm a pastoral support worker for 20 Stories.
I'm Lucy. I'm the youth projects producer for 20 Stories High.
For some audience members who come from backgrounds where financially they may not be able to afford to go to a theatre show, or afford to travel to a theatre show, you know, State of Mind can provide free theatre tickets, free transport to and from the theatre, which does a lot for that audience member in particular. For some audience members who are coming to a show which has certain content in there that may be triggering, State of Mind could look completely different.
We've got a member of 20 Stories High staff at all of the shows who is there to greet people, is probably the person who spoke to them beforehand or has an awareness of who they are and makes them feel welcome and comfortable in the space and make sure they have what they need. During the show, we'll have somebody who is available front of house to talk to audiences if they do need to leave the space, and go and speak to a member of staff. And often that's just a chat or a space away from what's happening in the show. But those people are mental health first aid trained if there's a need. And then as well, at the shows, we'll have self-care toolkits, which we've developed inspired by Clean Break Theatre Company and the Survivors Trust. And within a self-care toolkit, there'll be a really detailed synopsis of the show, exactly what's going to happen and what might be worrying or upsetting for people. And then there'll be some tips around self-care and how to look after yourself. And then there's also some helplines and support available at the back for if self-care is not enough for someone and they do need support from elsewhere. We want the experience for our audience to be positive and for them to leave having enjoyed themselves at the theatre. So whilst we're going to tricky spaces within the piece, We want to make sure that their experience with us is a positive one.
During the pandemic, we had a project called Summer Sounds, where we took live music back into community spaces for audience members that hadn't been able to access or view live music for nearly a year and a half, 2 years. We gave the opportunity for some of the audience members to also share some of their music with us, which in itself again was just amazing for their state of mind, because not only were they getting access to something that they hadn't had access to, but they were also getting to share things and showcase themselves to an audience that had never seen them. And the excitement and the buzz that they got from that was just amazing.
Working as a team.
During rehearsals was actually the first time that I experienced a team check-in, and I was like,
Zoom?
oh, this is, yeah, on Zoom, and I was like, this is new, what's this?
My name is Leanne and I'm the co-CEO and Executive Director at 20 Stories High.
I'm Natasha and I'm the Associate Producer at 20 Stories High.
We've now got this common knowledge and common language of this is what we can do to support each other in the workplace. This is what we can do to support each other as human beings and to be the best we can be in our roles in order to serve the organisation and our young people.
Coming into 20 Stories High as a new team member, I can really see how State of Mind has been embedded into the organisation, right from team meetings where we have check-ins to see how people are, and right through to having the way that we run our rehearsal room, or making sure that our cast and everyone has everything that they need prior to arriving in a rehearsal room. And I think for me as a producer, it's something that I haven't noticed working in another organisation before. It's that extra layer of what provisions do we need in a rehearsal room, when people are on tour, when we're putting shows on.
My name is Kofi. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, director, editor of sorts. As a freelancer, I feel like it's definitely impacted the way I think and the way I work with the rest of my team. Although at this stage, it's not something that I've implemented as much as I would like to. I feel like I'm still very new on the State of Mind journey, or on my State of Mind journey. In some jobs you can go to and you clock in the morning and you work all the way till you finish and then you go home. I feel like there's a lot more to building up the relationship with the people that you're working with and making the working environment a lot more enjoyable and a lot more fun, and without using the word safe space too much, also making them feel comfortable that they can come to the place of work and they can relax, even though there's still work to be done and still things to be you still got to keep your motivation high.
What's been so healthy and so productive and enlightening is that actually it's not good to try and iron out all the bumps. Like those tricky moments or those challenges or those bumpy moments, they're really good for us. We don't want to get rid of them. What State of Mind has allowed is for us to embrace them and to work through them and to just go, yeah, I'm going to put a flag in the fact that this is a bit of a challenging moment, but it's okay. I've got opportunities to go and talk to someone about it or work through it, or tomorrow's a new day. But it's being able to articulate that. In some moments we'll just be like, do you know what, this is too much, hashtag State of Mind, I'm going to have a break, or I'm going to call this meeting to an early close, or can we go for a walk and talk about this, or I'm going to use my toil because it's really important. So I think it's enabled us to have a better understanding of ourselves as professionals and also as a group of professionals together. If we put care at the heart of everything that we do, what does that mean in terms of boundaries? Like, how can we remain a theatre company and not become a wellbeing organisation or try and be an expert in terms of mental health? Like, let's keep to our core mission whilst also putting care and wellbeing around that. We don't have all the answers and we're just at the beginning of our State of Mind journey. But whether you are a freelance creative, an arts organisation, or work with young people in another sector, we hope some of these thoughts and ideas will help you with your practice.